What's that? Out in space, it's a station with a T-Rex face, firing lasers and playing games and killing all those herbivores. Out beyond the atmosphere, he's collecting stuff and striking fear. Come on board and grab a beer for gameplay vids and retro cheer. T-Rex Space Station.
What's up guys, it's Ben here. How's everyone doing? So I'm getting ready for night shifts tomorrow, and so today I'm planning on drinking a few beers and staying up very late playing video games. But I thought I'd also have some time for a bit of a speaky video. I don't often do these, though I am trying to make the effort to do some more of these rather than just gameplay videos. I've got a few video responses to make today. Firstly, I'd like to thank you guys who responded to my recent talkie video asking whether you care about YouTube retention statistics and whether you watch videos all the way through to the end. It was kind of interesting seeing your video responses, and I really enjoyed watching Steve Benway's video response too, so thanks Steve. I find it quite interesting that he said yes and no. If it's interesting or short or keeps his attention, he will do, but actually he doesn't always watch very long videos. And I thought that was kind of funny that he said that he possibly wouldn't watch all of his own Friday talkies because he has quite a short attention span. It kind of got me thinking, like, what is the optimum length for a YouTube video? Is it better to make lots of shorter videos or to do longer talkies? I do find it interesting though that actually the Friday talkie and other long speaky videos actually tend to be the more popular videos that people do on YouTube channels. I don't know whether that's because people like to dip in and dip out, or listen to little bits and come back later, or whether it's because people like to listen to longer talkies in the background while they do other things. But either way, I think it's interesting to experiment with different length videos, and perhaps I won't always keep all of my talkies or gameplay videos to 10 minutes. To start off with, I thought I'd get you guys to blow your own trumpet. I know I'm not referring to like removing a rib or something. And so I thought it'd be interesting to ask you, what's your most popular upload to YouTube? And why do you think that video was popular? What was it about it that got people's attention, or is there anything you can pinpoint about it? My most popular video is a gameplay video of a game called Dark Colony. Usually when my videos get lots of views, it's because a bigger channel will either like or comment on it, and that will kind of draw attention towards it. But I don't think that's the case with Dark Colony. The only reason why I could pinpoint that this video was popular over anything else was because, well, it was a gameplay of a slightly niche game, or maybe a game. So there are certain games that people play when they're younger and forget about and want to go back and find. And Dark Colony must be fulfilling that role. It's one of those games where a few people have commented on it. God, I was trying to find that game that I played when I was younger that I couldn't remember the name of, and now I've stumbled upon this gameplay video and you've reminded me, thanks very much. I think we all have that kind of feeling of vague memories of games that we used to love, and it's so satisfying when you finally stumble upon it. I remember there's a couple of games in my head that I've really wanted to find, and TV shows, that I just cannot find. One was a real-time strategy game where you had to like work as some kind of corporation, hire different units, and it was based on like a PC and you could choose different missions. And I've never managed to remember what that game was called. I just remember the box being like blue with a big $sign on it. God knows what it was, and I spent a large number of hours trying to find it online. There's something about that desperate desire to pinpoint what the hell the game was back in the day, and it's not always very easy to do at all. So yeah, it wasn't a particularly great gameplay video as far as I'm concerned, but in that case it must have been the choice of game that got people's attention and got that kind of, yes, here it is nostalgia feeling. So yeah, I'd be interested to know, guys, maybe you could tell me about your most popular YouTube upload and what you think it was about that video that captured people's attention. I don't know. Dave was asking, does a YouTuber who's subscribed to your channel have the right, or should they, demand things of your content if you're not uploading things that they originally subscribed for? I think this is a really interesting question about, how much your subscribers should have a say in what you do. I think when I first started on YouTube, obviously I didn't have any subs, and then after a shout out from Steve Benway I started to get more and more, and I felt like it was a big responsibility having people who subscribe to your channel. It was like I really feel like I have to make regular good content here and maybe do things that please the audience. Presumably the people that subscribed to my channel wanted to see either things in a gameplay format like Steve Benway did himself, or things that were similar in format to the videos that I first posted. After all, those were the reason why they subscribed in the first place. Sometimes people would comment on them and say like, oh, you played this game really badly, I wish you were a bit better at it, or, that's paraphrasing, or would make certain requests. And, most of the time I thought it was a bit harsh. But thinking about it, I think that there is a responsibility to say to people when you don't think things are right, or whether you think things could be improved. Maybe there are certain channels that do only one type of video and you'd like to see other types. There's nothing wrong with kind of suggesting that people might consider other ideas, or maybe requesting a certain game to be played, or giving feedback to each other. That's how we grow. I've said before that I think the thumbs down button is a pile of shite, but there's nothing wrong with a bit of friendly feedback amongst the YouTube gaming community to help each other develop. That said, I think that a lot of us have, basically the question comes down to how safe do you want to play your YouTube channel. There are lots of kind of risk-averse ways of doing YouTube channels. It's always going to be safe to do a gameplay, it's always going to be safe to do a talkie or a video response, but do you always want to do that? And at the end of the day, I think that it actually comes down to, this channel is yours. You can do absolutely whatever the hell you want with it. If you don't feel like playing it safe, if you feel like putting out a random video, for example, of you eating lots of Marmite, I absolutely hate Marmite, so I'm not going to be doing that, or something like that, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. Because basically at the end of the day, it's down to you. Now, I think myself and a lot of others could relate to the fact that just producing the same type of video can actually be kind of boring. I don't always want to do just a gameplay video or just a standard talkie. Sometimes I want to play videos of me, show videos of me playing guitar to video games or whatever the hell else it is. That's just an example of one thing that I like to do. And nobody can really tell you to do otherwise. You're not just a mindless robot that's there to churn out the same type of content over and over again. The YouTube channel is there for your entertainment as a YouTube creator, as well as for the viewer, and you have ownership of it and can do whatever the hell you like with it. I think it's also a really important part of the creative process to take risks and do videos that aren't just standard. Things that are fun for you, things that kind of refuel your energy and make you interested in it, Steve Benway, for example, did take a break from doing the Friday talkie because as soon as something becomes routine and expected, it can lose its appeal to you as a YouTube creator. And there's nothing wrong with taking a break from it and doing something completely different. Even another example, sometimes risks do have negative consequences, but it's still worth it because, sometimes they have positive consequences too, or they're just, engaging or fun for you to do. Like when I was faffing around with a little bit of background music and some zoom effects on a couple of videos, on a video a couple of weeks ago, because that was fun for me. I wanted to try new effects. Part of this is a creative process, and yeah, I got 2 thumbs downs on that video. Those are the first thumbs downs in a long time, possibly because I did something different that was a bit outside the box, and yeah, maybe it looked a bit shit, but would I do it again? Sure I would. I'll just experiment and learn and have fun, do whatever the hell you want. I really enjoy watching channels like Lone Boys Post 1975 or Dave Infected Flinch because, Dave again has funny YouTube characters, the Pumpkin and the Golden Skull and things like that, just trying things different, mixing things up. And sure, I don't watch all of those zany out there things, I don't watch all of the Marmite videos, but hey, you did something new, and some people liked it, some people didn't. But hats off to the people that actually have the balls to try new stuff and think outside the box and don't just do the same safe things over and over again. So that's my opinion on it. Balls to the people that criticize us. You don't really have a right to demand a certain type of thing from a YouTube creator. If you don't like certain things that a channel does, well, just ignore them and watch the things that you do like. I've said before, I'm not a massive fan of pickups, but I do still watch pickup videos by people who I find inspiring and interesting, and when there's too many pickups, I just skip those videos and watch the other videos that they make. You can always find something in a YouTube channel to enjoy, even if some of the videos aren't to your liking, and I think it's very selfish to demand a certain type of video, one type of video that you enjoy, because that's just reducing the variety and the spice of being a YouTube creator. So yeah, balls to the critics. I'll drink to that. So next up I want to respond to a play and chat video by Adi. He was playing a bit of Watch Dogs, which I haven't got yet, and talking about gameplay reviews, and I found it a really interesting video. He was saying that he has done some gameplay reviews in the past, but he's actually stopped recently because they're actually quite hard to do. And I wonder what your opinions on this were. Have you ever done game reviews on your YouTube channel? Did you find them interesting to do? Did you find them difficult to do? And is there any reason why you may have stopped doing them now? Maybe you found them quite tough. I have done some YouTube videos reviewing video games, but it's a small number. I think it's like, less than 10. And I think it is quite a hard thing to get into. Mostly for the reason that if you're going to put a review out there, you kind of have to know the game very well, or pretty damn well. You don't want to make a YouTube review of a game that you're not sure about, that makes you come across as a bit of a nincompoop. Oh, that's an interesting choice of word. Avoiding swearing and going for archaic, gentle swearing things, or curses, whatever that would be called. I'm rambling. You have to know the game pretty well, or people are just going to be able to tell that it's vacuous, that you don't really know what you're talking about. And so, as Adi was saying, games from the past tend to be a little bit easier. If you're doing an Atari 2600 video game, once you've played that through for a few hours, you'll know how it plays. It's mostly about repetition, simple gameplay, and a scoring system, and therefore not very difficult to review. However, if you're trying to review a modern game, something like Grand Theft Auto 5, the amount of content in there is so vast that it's like, excuse me, frothy beer burp. That's the problem with drinking while you're talking. The content is so vast, there's so many little side quests, bonus games, extra areas to explore. Where do you draw the line and say, I've played the game enough to review it now? The answer is, you have to get a balance, of course, but the answer really is that you have to play a hell of a lot more of the game than you would do to review a retro video game. And so reviews are quite hard. You can put yourself under quite a lot of flack by not knowing a game enough, and I've seen people criticising certain YouTubers for not playing a game enough before reviewing it. But if you are a YouTube channel that does lots and lots of reviews, it must be that you can't be playing those games all the way through. Like CGR Undertow, for example, there's reviews coming on there every single day, several reviews. How much time can they be really spending on those games? And don't get me wrong, I like the reviews and I find them to be balanced and informative. But surely they can't be completing that sheer volume of video games, can they? I just think that would be unpractical. So I think it's personally fine to cut some corners. You're not going to be able to show every single thing in the game, but it has to be balanced and it has to be informed. Now, personally, I did stop doing YouTube reviews because of the amount of time required to do it. You have to for me, I would personally want to complete the whole game, really, to do it. And so I've spent, for example, when I did the Dreamweb review, I sat there and played through the entire game before I even sat down and put pen to paper to review it. And that took a while. It took 2 or 3 days just to play through it and complete it before I could even then get into commenting on it. And secondly, I sometimes kind of think that actually doing a review of a game can kind of kill the joy of it, because you have to play it with an analytical head, pay a lot of attention to what's going on, focus on it, and take ideas for where the review's going to come from. And actually, you're kind of not enjoying the game that much. It's much more fun to just be like, I bought a new game, I've put it in the console, and now I'm just going to ramble about it and chat about it and have a bit of fun. So yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one. Personally, I think it's quite hard to do reviews well because of the amount of time that would demand on your YouTube channel. I much prefer just to do random gameplay vids in a little bit less depth. One of the other things here is about questioning the validity or the relevance now of, say, the big gaming channels, corporate gaming channels' reviews. How important are those now? In the past, I would read a lot of reviews in magazines like CVG, which I used to buy regularly, and that would be really my main source of information about games. That alongside word of mouth, which is always going to be a relevant factor. And I went on from there, once the internet was out, to watching lots of reviews on channels like GameSpot and things, and IGN. Those channels not so long ago were criticised because obviously they're sponsored by certain game companies. They get copies of the game to review and they get money through advertising and things. And so they're not impartial. There is certainly a bias there. And I think they were criticised for reviewing games favourably when the companies had given money into them. And, of course, all that sort of thing goes on. And so I stopped kind of using those as I got into YouTube more and more. Now more than ever, I think that the big company video game reviews aren't that relevant because there are so many independent small channels doing gameplays, doing reviews, and just kind of putting great content out there for you to make your mind up yourself. I suppose, the question now is, are reviews themselves actually all that relevant? Because there are so many people just playing, doing gameplay footage, putting footage up on YouTube, doing talkies over gameplay with commentary, that I can get a pretty damn good idea about what a game is like without a formal gaming review. I think once you've seen somebody doing footage of a game, you kind of know whether you want to buy it or not. So now more than ever, I think it's about the small independent gaming channels that I use personally to buy games. I don't think that the old formal grading system, 4 out of 5 stars, is that relevant really. Maybe a little bit, but now more than ever, it's about just getting an idea from YouTube, seeing what people say about the game and getting an impression. And I think that that's just very empowering. It puts the power back to the people, back to the smaller YouTube users, rather than the big corporations like GameSpot or IGN, where there's revenue and investment involved. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting to talk about gameplay reviews, about my opinions about other companies, and also about whether I do them myself. And it'd be interesting to know from your point of view. Do you watch big gameplay review channels, and do you make reviews yourself? And what's your experience of doing that? So thanks for watching this slightly rambling video. Let me know your video responses, and I'll also post a link to the videos mentioned in the description below. Take care, guys. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.